Hello, my name is Yasmin, and I have been making a lot of art recently, so I figured I'd just show you guys because who else would I show? And I've been making a lot of prints, like screen printing, linoleum prints, like copper, zinc, hard etching, or like prints. You'll see. So let's just get right into it. I just want it to be super chill, super vibey, and yeah. Okay, so the first print that I made that I really been liking is this one. It says, and I'll put a picture of it like here, but it says, "Until death reunites us again," because I just believe that we'll all be reunited after death. Well, I hope so. And then I have my adaptation of Mictlantecuhtli. Honestly, I don't know how to say it properly, but the Aztec goddess of the underworld. I wanted to make my own adaptation because I didn't want to copy anyone else's adaptation, you know what I mean? So this, though, the main face part I got from a like sculpture, like original sculpture, yeah. And then I added, and then these were also part of the sculpture. And then the necklace is supposed to symbolize or look like the entrance to the womb. The entrance to the womb. I don't know like how much I have to censor on YouTube, but the vagina. If I can't say vagina on YouTube, something's gone terribly wrong. And then I have these marigold flowers, and then boobs, because they're literally life. Boobs are life. Literally. So yeah, I really love this piece, and I love like the deep maroon that I went with. It's really cute. I made another one. Well, I made a bunch, because the thing about different forms of print, this is linoleum, so this is linoleum, so I drew it on just my like notebook. I think I have it. I do. And then I got my square of linoleum, I put transfer paper, and then I just went over my original drawing, and then that transfers onto the linoleum, and then you can carve away. It's like, if you've never worked or seen linoleum, it's feels and looks kind of like, I use gray linoleum, but there's different kinds. They generally look like erasers or feel like eraser. So imagine you like were carving eraser, and then it's gonna be inverted, so everything, like all your words, you have to do them flipped. So when you print, then it's right side up. Yes. Let me see if I can find my original sketch, because it's pretty good. Oh, I first did this one. That drawing, I don't know how well you can see, but I didn't know if that was someone's adaptation, like somebody came up with that, or if that was original Aztec art, you know. And then this, so you'll be able to read it normally because the camera is inverted, or it's not, I don't know, but the camera shows it like this way, but that made zero sense, but you know what I'm trying to say. But this one I liked because towards the end I was just like having fun with it, because I needed 5 to look exactly the same for my assignment, and then towards the end I just got to have fun, and I really liked that. So, until death reunites us again. Love this one. And then this one is also linoleum, and it says estás perdido. Estás perdido. Are you lost? And then this little lady, I named her Lady Cempasúchil, because where her face would be, I just put Cempasúchil flowers. And then I have this plant, I forget exactly what it's called, but a lot are in Mexico. And then she has her robe, and I love this like deep rich brown that I chose. I also tried to make one that was for the Mexican flag, but the lady, like, she gets lost in it. You can like barely see her. I don't know. Yeah, she, like, I can see her when I hold it up to light and stuff. It looks pretty cool, but she gets lost a little. And then, so first I made Until Death Reunites Us Again, and then I made Estás Perdido. So I have the Aztec goddess of death, and then I have my little made-up character, Lady Cempasúchil. But, oh, Cempasúchil is marigolds, I think I said. But marigolds are always used during Dia de los Muertos, and if you have no idea what that is, watch Coco. Coco. I listen to Coco, so I always get Coco and Cuco mixed up. I always have. So, yes. So yeah, first I made this one, and then I made this one. And they're both like female personified versions of death. So I was journaling about making these two pieces, and then I kind of had an idea of why I made this Estás Perdido Lady Cempasúchil character, and it was just in my head, like when somebody is crossing the border and I'm already gonna cry, and they're like lost or sick or hurt, and they're in their last moments. I pray that, you know, they pass with nothing but like peace. And Lady Cempasúchil is who one might see in that moment to guide you home, to guide you to heaven, to guide you to wherever you believe you're gonna go. She'll be there to guide you and protect you, and just be like a safe haven in a moment of pain. So then I was journaling about that, and then I wrote a like little short story, and it is called Melt, and it like ties these two pieces together. So Melt, when I was writing this, I was bawling. I couldn't even read it without crying for like a couple days, honestly. So Melt. And I'm not a writer. I'm not like a creative writer or anything. This just happened. The lone traveler embarks on a journey, going from his motherland to his promised land. He risks the devil's highway for his daughter. But things go wrong and he loses his way. He looks to the left and all he can see is the unforgiving desert. He looks to the right and sees vultures circling a soul that has already been taken. The weight of the heat drags him down. Just a quick rest, he tells himself. His dreams and reality become one. He can no longer tell the difference. But a woman's voice peeks through his dazed state. She asks him, "Estás perdido?" The voice was so sweet he could melt into it. He's dying to melt into it. Let the pain take away. Let the voice take away my pain and carry me back to my mother's land, he thinks to himself. So she does just that. He gets to go home. His daughter grieves, and she calls out to him to the beautiful, violent land until death reunites us again. So it's a common story for our people, and it feels really prevalent in these times that we're living in, that we're surviving. So it's just been on my mind a lot recently, and when something's on my mind a lot, I make art. So that's what I did, and then this is the product of that. I really like them, and I have them hanging up, and I included all 3 of these pieces, the 2 linoleum prints and the short story, in my portfolio for a school that I apply to. And I barely tell anybody that I've applied to a school because that scares me. But now I've told YouTube. So what's next? This is also linoleum, and this is the Bay Bridge, and it says, "Let the bay be my resting place." I think this is technically, it's called like the San Francisco to Oakland Bridge, something like that. I don't know. I just call it the Bay Bridge. And I didn't know that it was giving Lakers logo, like, until I was looking at it done print. This is a 3-way color print or something, or they call it like the, I don't know if I can even say that word, but I forget how it's actually called, like technical terms. But it's just like it was a whole process, and I did it wrong. That's why these letters are so dark, because I put this darker purple down when I should have put this down first and then done the dark purple around it. But that would have been really hard, because you like carve the linoleum as you go. Super crazy, super weird. But yes, anyways, I didn't know it was giving Lakers until I was sitting at all of my prints. Is Lakers the team where they have this logo, kind of? I made all these. I still like it. I just like could give a fuck about basketball. So this is supposed to be like the sun, because it's like a deep dark. It's like dusk time in the bay. You know, the sky's purple, the ocean, the bay is like deep, almost black blue, and then the sun is like that deep dark orange. This is like the smog sunsets that we have, and yeah, it just like looks like a cold winter night. And let the bay be my resting place. I've been like on a kick with making art about death. I really have been. I don't know why. I think I've always been. Have I always been fascinated with it? I don't know. I think that's actually more recent. But I've always been into making like darker, creepier art. I've always been into darker, spooky things. And since I was a kid, like the art I used to make out as a kid, a little concerning. And I feel like and then I got to middle school, and I was like, okay, this is not gonna do. And so I tried to self-correct. It was, I was deep in my 21 Pilots era in middle school. So I was still giving, okay, yeah, middle school, I was still giving like little emo kid. This part is so frizzy, I don't know what happened. 21 Pilots actually like made that even more apparent. I was giving little emo kid, and I had the ends of my hairs dyed like fucking all colors. Anyways, high school, and that's when I kind of stopped giving into my like emo side. I think Mexicans are naturally emo. We're the best emos. Fight me on it. We just do it. Like, our culture is naturally dark and spooky, and I love it. And we celebrate death. I think Western cultures, it's very apparent that we must fear death. Fear death. But I feel like the Mexican part of me wants to celebrate it. So this is just me celebrating death like we've always done as a culture and as a people. And then, so what I'm getting at is that as I grow older, the more I go back to my like a spooky emo kid roots. It's just a more refined version of that. You know, I'm not dyeing the ends of my hair blue, but I'm still making art about death. I just have, yeah, anyways, I feel like in high school I tried to self-correct and tried to fit in more, and as I grow older and in college and exploring, like being pushed to explore these certain sides of myself, the more I return back to who I once was. The more I do inner child work, the more I return back to my inner child. There we go. So, those are my prints. And then I did, well, technically I did the copper and zinc like metal sheet prints, but I just want to show this one because I love it. I have J Fresh, sorry. Growing up, my brother would call me Jazzy Fresh or Shawnee Polly, and I hated it. I hated it. And then one day I was like, wait, Jazzy Fresh? That's kind of fire. So now it's my Instagram handle, Jazzy Fresh with 2 F's. And like I made it my thing. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Okay. And then I have these chains like bordering. And they're kind of, they're supposed to look like that. They're supposed to, like, if you get it, you get it. And then I made a lot, and I made more, but I left my good ones at school to critique later next week, and then I'll bring home like my favorite ones. But I just printed, so these chains I drew, you'll see later, and then this is just like some quick Photoshop type shit. And then, yeah, I feel like it's giving concert, like, you know, in the city when a concert's happening and then they like promote it, so you'll just see a bunch of like promotional posters, but they use that like water sticky glue, so you can't like take it home with you and steal it. It'll like peel away from the wall. This is what it's giving. Or at least I think so. So I made a bunch, and then my professor and I, like, she was just showing me different ways. This is screen printed. She was just showing me different techniques where you, like, you know, if you've ever screen printed, you're supposed to, you pull the paint down, you flood it, pull the paint down, flood it, pull the paint down. She was showing me like different fun ways. You just spackle a bunch of paint on there, go crazy with it, and so we were getting some really cool designs. But I left the really cool ones at school again for critique. But if your professor is ever like showing you, or your teacher, but especially if you're in college, if your professor's ever showing you, like, just for fun what they like to do with the assignment, like, do it with them. Do it with them. Because this only happened, the fun, like, going outside of the assignment rules, the assignment, like, graded parts, like, just have fun with the professor. They have a lot of good knowledge. They're a professor for a reason. Most of them, not all, at all. Anyways, what am I saying? Just take advantage. If your professor's wanting to show you something fun, let them show you something fun. So I love these prints. And yeah, this was just for funsies, for shits and gigs. Because, yeah, it's nothing too deep. And then, so now I'll start with my copper plate prints. Is the screen dark? Okay, I had to plug my phone in, so this lighting is very warm tone, but that's okay. I'm like not this golden orange in person. I wish though. It makes my eyes pop now. Okay, so the copper plates, this one again, death. So this is like Santa Muerte. And then I was like, these spiderweb designs were everything. It looks much better in person. And yeah, it just looks better in person. Also, I wouldn't say that I am like a drawer or painter. Because I know a lot of people, a lot of people there, if you're like, oh, I'm creative, they're like, oh, you paint, oh, you draw. Kinda. But on the back of this one's giving like tarot card. On the back of this, I did little like proverbs or quotes, and this one just says, all power to the people. You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. Fred Hampton. And then this one, I really want to frame this one because I have like, this is the only one in this color, so it's one of one. And yeah, I feel like it's just look good in frame. This blue is looking really good right now on camera with this like super warm mood lighting. And then again with the death. I've just been feeling it recently. This one, El Camino del Diablo. El Camino del Diablo. I read The Devil's Highway, the book, obviously. I read the book, The Devil's Highway, and it's about there's a bug on my bed. Okay, it's about the 13, I forgot what they're called. But basically, like, a group of 20-something go to cross the border, and I think 13 make it. I should know this before I talk. I do know it. I forgot. I read the whole book, and okay, anyways. So yeah, I wanted to make art about that. So, I have the highway. Some different like cactus type shit. The mountains, El Camino del Diablo, and then this grave, and then a little cross. And this this also connects with my Estás Perdido and my Until Death Reunites Us Again linoleum prints, because this is the setting of where the story, my short story Melt, would take place. Yes, this was a copper plate, so you take a sheet of copper and you just scratch into it, and then you Well, first you have to polish the sheet of copper. And so you're done scratching it. And this is also inverted, so you have to flip the letters and everything. And you take a little piece of cardboard, say this is copper, and you like squeegee your paint all throughout, covering the whole thing. And then you take like a hard kind of meshy cheesecloth type thing, and you just circle around, circle, trying to take all that surface paint off, but leaving the paint in the etching where you did the copper. This bothered me. I don't like that. Okay, and then you go in with newspaper, and you go like in circle motions, trying to take all this extra paint off. And then you lay it down, you put your paper, and you can like, I guess you could just do that, but at school we have like a machine with like a giant ship wheel, and we turn. It's giving like printing press vibes. El Camino the Devil's Highway. And then I really like these ones coming up. I made, this one has a bunch of different chains. So I have the paperclip chain, I have the paperclip chain, Figaro chain, ball chain, rope chain, Belcher, and Cuban link. So I love this one, but this here, like, it makes me so mad how I messed that up there. But this was, I think, hard point, or is it dry point? I forget, but zinc. In the same process as the copper, but actually no, it's not the same process. This is aqua tint. Well, I tried, but it didn't work. But this one, you put like a wax on your sheet of metal, and then you etch away. And where the wax stays, so you put it in acid sheet of metal, and where the wax stayed, the acid doesn't eat away, and where you etched out the wax, the acid eats away. So I etched all this out, and the acid created the divots, the grooves. Anyways, I'm tired of this thing. But yeah, so when I was doing the etching, when I was doing the etching, I messed it up. But it's okay, I really like this print. I think it's fun. It's cool, I really like it. Because I like chains. And then I made this one. I really like this one. But I named it Bling Blau after Nef the Pharaoh. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. That's some real Bay Area shit. But Bling Blau, Nef the Pharaoh. And then I have all these cuts. I have Emerald, Baguette, Marquise, Cushion, Round, and Trillion cut. And I'm gonna go in, I didn't want to ruin it with aqua tint, because I just didn't want a chance ruining it, because I really like this print. And I think I'm gonna go in and like add some depth, like just draw it in, see how that turns out. Maybe I'll print new ones so I don't like ruin these ones, because I really like them. And I think that's all the print art that I've done recently, plus my short story. I have done a lot of art recently. I've done all this since, if it's October, then maybe end of August or early September. I think early mid-September to, what is it, October 22nd, I think. I've done all this. I think that's a lot. Because this is like, I'm doing one project a week. Like, yeah, I think so. Sometimes two. And which is great because I think we all could use a little more creative expression, creative freedom. And I love, again, I'm not like the craziest drawer, painter, but that was how I first started expressing myself through art. So it always like has a special place in my heart, drawing and stuff. And some of these I've never done before. Screen printing I've done. Love screen printing. But like all this metal prints I've never done. And linoleum I did one time. Anyways, thank you for listening to me ramble about different art I've made and make more art. And yeah, bye.